Hashem at Bani Mushtaq was an experience.
It's not an easy read. It demanded so much more from me. And I think that's what initially unsettled me. The book was gifted to me by Ntobenhle Shezi, a deep thinker and lover of culture. So I already suspected this will not be a straightforward read. I started the first story, and honestly, I did not understand what was happening. I had to reread the sections. I had to search online. I had to pause and sit with the discomfort of not immediately getting it. And somewhere along the way, I realized that maybe that was the point. This was not a book arriving to me neatly packaged in the rhythm of English language storytelling I'm used to. This was a world translated into English, but still carrying the bones, gestures, energy, and emotional architecture of another language entirely. And suddenly, the struggle itself became part of the reading experience. The breakthrough for me came in the translator's note by Diba Bashti. And honestly, that note unlocked the entire book for me. What she explains is extraordinary. She writes about how Kannada, the language, is not simply spoken as a language, but it is performed. Meaning exists not only in the words themselves, but in the gestures, pauses, tone, repetitions, rhythm, and even facial expressions. She explains that translation here was never about how replacing words from one language to another will make sense, but it was about carrying an entire culture across. And that changed everything for me. One line especially stayed with me. You know, the idea that language, I think how she says it carries cultural knowledge that often needs translation too. And that is exactly what I had been feeling without fully understanding it. The book made me realize how much context we take for granted when we read in familiar literary traditions. In these stories, relationships, respect, identity, grief, gender, and power are embedded inside language itself. I also love the translator's decision not to italicize Kannada, Urdu, or Arabic words. At first, I did not notice it consciously, but after reading her explanation, it felt profound. She writes that italics can other words, making them feel foreign or exotic to English readers. By refusing italics, she invites the reader to meet these languages halfway rather than keeping them at a distance. And that choice suddenly felt political, human, in fact, respectful. And then there's Banu Mushtaq, the author herself, a lawyer, activist, and writer from Karnataka in southern India, writing in Kannada language. She emerged from the Banaya literary movement, which encouraged